It's not a bad drive though. Just who's Lafayette sucks.
Yeah, but you know what? It only takes one idiot to back up traffic.
You're right, but you could be that idiot. You could be the one backing up traffic.
That's why I don't want to be that idiot.
Anyways, you know, welcome to the Hoochie Nerds podcast. You got Kris and Chris.
The usual.
I'm sitting here eating freeze-dried Skittles.
I bought, you know what? So, because I'm going to the races this weekend, right? So I went to Meijer and I usually take Pringles, but I voted that down. I do have a can of Pringles in there. I'm trying to like streamline my foodage.
Yeah.
So I just bought a bag of combos, pizza combos.
I've never liked those.
Oh man, I love combos anyway, because it's cheese and pretzel.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought pizza combos because they'll fit easy into. I bought this cooler chair thing.
Oh, I think I've seen those. Those are kind of nice.
So okay, so what it is? It's like a stadium seat, right?
Yeah.
So it's $40, and it's got IndyCar on it, right? And it's a stadium seat. So you put it in the grandstands, and it's a chair. It has a back, but it has a cooler attached to it that folds down. So the cooler is right in between your legs.
He spit in the cooler.
So I bought that at the track. That was $40. Because we always end up buying you can rent like chairs, like stadium seats at the Speedway anyway.
Yeah.
But they're like $15, $20. I paid $40 for this, and it'll be paid off in a couple of years. So I streamlined my foodage. So I'll take the cooler with me, with bottles of pop, because they fit better. Because you can screw the lid back on. A bag of combos, because I like combos. Then I got Little Debbie snack cakes, oatmeal cream pies. I figure if I stick those in the freezer, and I can shove them into that cooler, because they'll pack real well. You know what I mean? Because they're small.
Yeah.
Then I'm good to go. All I have to do is make a couple peanut butter sandwiches. I can put those in my backpack, and I'm good to go for race day. Which the track has gotten outrageously expensive.
How much is?
Let me tell you about my track experiences.
Oh, quick question. How much is a hot dog? That's how I judge.
A hot dog is $6.
Oh God.
For one hot dog. Now I did get, when I went to the Grand Prix, while I went to practice, they had a barbecue, like a spare rib chili dog.
Yeah.
For $10. So I bought one. Oh my God, it was so good. But that was just a one-off. I had drinks with me and had combos then too. But that's $5. The hot dogs are $6. Fries are $7. Cheeseburgers are $9.50. And then pop or water in a bottle is $5.
That's not bad.
Well, it is if you go 5 days in a row.
It is. That is kind of expensive. That adds up.
Because one hot dog is not enough.
Mm-mm.
So there's 12, and then so it's $24 for 2 hot dogs, fries, and a drink. That's just one meal.
Fat guy that thinks one hot dog is enough.
That's okay. So as the day goes on, you're gonna get thirsty again, right? So you're gonna go buy another drink. That's another $5. So you're up to $30 a day minimum for food. That's just one day. I went 5 days in a row, plus the Grand Prix, so I went 6. That's 6 times 30 is $180.
Gosh.
That's just in food. So I spent $50 at the grocery for buying bread. I bought lunch meat. I did buy Pringles for that, because I took those to most every day. And then I bought a thing of fruit granola bars things. They're not granola bars, like fruit bars.
Yeah.
I bought those, and I took those every day and snacked on those every day, and a case of pop. I think I spent $50, $60, and I'm good to go. I'll buy food at carb day, just because it's an all day event, and I don't want to drag a bunch. We do a lot of walking around there.
Got to get them carbs.
So yeah, you gotta have carbs on. Last year they had Skyline chili dog at the track.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Skyline chili is overrated.
It is not overrated, and oh my god, it was so good at Speedway too, so fresh. You get like 3 dogs for like $9 at the Speedway last year.
Skyline chili is overrated.
Chili dog, Skyline chili dog is not overrated.
It is.
But and tenderloins at the track are $12.50. I can, get a tenderloin at anywhere for like $8 or $9, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't buy food at the track. It's cost. And here's the shitty part. I could used to buy food at the track. I would buy a ticket to get in. Qualifying's $35 now. So if you go both days, that's $70. And if you have somebody with you, that's $140 for both days. Plus food, 30, so 100. That's over $200 for 2 days for you and your significant other to go to the racetrack. So, which I don't recommend going by yourself. So you better save up your money and take somebody with you to go to the racetrack. Because it's boring to go to the racetrack by yourself. There's nobody to talk to.
Yeah. That's what you said. What was it, last week? Where you
it's a Grand Prix. It's the same thing. Practice isn't so bad. I kind of move around a lot. You know what I mean? I go from the garage area and I kind of change up where I take pictures. That practice isn't so horrible by myself. But like with time trials, I sit in one spot all day, So you just sit there and talk to yourself. Oh, that's a fast lap. Oh, well, he's going faster than the other guy. Oh, that was a close call. Like, there's nobody to talk to. Even if you take a girl or guy who's never been to the racetrack, you can at least have conversation because you can explain what's going on.
Yep.
In time trials, you have time to do it. So I've got to get my ass in gear, really. But then I would have to get a haircut, and I would have to care about what I look like, Chris, and I just don't want to do that right now.
You need a haircut. You really need a haircut, bud.
Nobody at the racetrack complained. You think did you see my picture with David Letterman? I met David Letterman.
Well, he needs a haircut too.
He has a haircut. He just needs to trim his beard. But I don't know. They don't care. I don't care.
I know you don't care, but I care for you, and you need a haircut.
It's starting to get really growing out. Wasn't as hot as I anticipated either.
No, it was hotter today than it was like all week.
It was hot as balls out there today, but it was hot Sunday. It was humid on Saturday because it was so foggy. Because it was foggy at the track. It was super humid on Saturday. And Sunday was hot. But I sat underneath the main grandstand, so I didn't have to sit in the sun very long. But it was.
I know I ask you every year, but where are your tickets?
My tickets for the race are in turn 2.
Okay.
So if there's sunshine on race day, I'm gonna bake, and it's hot. We're just gonna bake it because that turn 2 faces west, and because they start the race at 12:45 now because they're stupid. I hate TV. We need to discuss this. TV's ruining everything. The race used to start at 11 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yes.
Green flag was 11 a.m. back in the day. For years, it was 11 a.m. So it would be done by 2:30. You could be home by 4, at the 4:30 at the latest. You still had the evening. You know what I mean? You could take a mini nap. And now they start the race at 12:45. So now it gets over at 3:45. Then you got to get to your car. So you're home by 6, maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Chris needs his beauty sleep.
Well, no, that's not it. It's just like you could kind of relax and then, it's time to eat dinner. You know what I mean? Or you could go grab dinner, order a pizza. You had time. Now, as soon as you get home, you go for dinner. There's no downtime. I mean, you could stay up late, but you've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning, and then you bake in the sun all day. So it's just not conducive. And then they talk about rain in the afternoon. for race day that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So if it rains after 2:00 on race day, if they'd have started it at 11:00, they would have missed the rain. So, but because of TV now, TV rules everything. TV dictates time of sporting events. So now the race starts at 12:45. So we could potentially have a longer race day if it rains on Sunday because of TV.
Oh, I know. The TV, it drives me nuts for basketball because I want, I kind of want to watch some of these West Coast games, but I ain't staying up till 11:00 just to watch the tip off.
Pacers are on tonight.
Oh, I know. What are your predictions?
They can win. They have nothing to lose.
Yeah, we have a chance, but
I think good chance.
I think it's gonna be what's their names? I think it's Celtics in 7.
You think so?
I think Celtics in 7.
Who's in the Western Conference Finals? Is that the Western Conference Finals?
It's Mavericks and Minnesota. So for the NBA, if the NBA is as biased and
so if it was Minnesota and Indiana, there's like nobody outside of Minnesota and Indiana watching the game.
Yeah, so NBA is going to pull all the stops and make it be Mavs and Celtics.
Mavs and Celtics, yeah. Well, at least it's got to be one of them. It's got to be the Mavs or the Celtics.
Yes.
Minimum. It could be the Mavs and the Pacers. Or it could be Minnesota and Boston.
Mm-hmm.
But it cannot be Minnesota and Indiana.
No, and they're going to make sure at least the Celtics are in there because it's the Celtics.
My nephew, he's got season tickets to Pacers, right?
Yeah.
So he got club level seats for the Pacers game 3 on Saturday. $235 for tickets.
This coming Saturday?
Yes.
That's not that bad.
Are you kidding? $235
per ticket or
per ticket.
I don't think that's that bad.
The buy-in price on TickPicks, the app I use, is $218. 30 years ago, Chris, we went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 3, Memorial Day, or Game 4. It was 3 or 4. They played the Knicks, right? This is Hicks versus Knicks. The whole thing, 1994. Do you know how much my ticket was for the Eastern Conference Finals?
$20.
$25.
Back in my day, I could buy a cheeseburger, a small fry, and a Coke for 25 cents.
It's gone up 100 times. Or 10 times. 10 times? Yeah, 10 times.
Well, some of that is natural inflation. That isn't the bad inflation, that we're having right now. That's natural inflation of time going by.
So guess who's not going to the Pacer game? That's a lot of money for a basket. I'm sorry, that is $150 maybe. I ain't paying over $200.
Not that bad. I think that's a good price for club level. I think that's a good price. I think anything above club level, that's too much. But
yeah, just that secondary market, you can get in for $218. Now the Monday game, I guess, because it's Monday night, is $188 to get in. But that's the corner in the upper deck. So I'm not spending that much. I mean, that's more than my 500 ticket. And that's the biggest race in the world. And I would spend that on the 500, but
and how many people?
How big are the spend double?
How many seat people can fit into the Indy 500?
Oh, there's like 200,000 seats.
Exactly.
I could sit in great seats, like up above our grandstand. They're called Vistas, right? There's 2 sections up there. They have backings, so it's like a chair. It's a grandstand with a backing on it, right? And they're $235. And I proposed that we buy those and nobody wanted to go for it.
That seems like a good investment.
That is
For
a good
you. That's a really good investment. That's honestly not that much money for really good tickets for somebody that will enjoy every single moment he's there.
That's the biggest race in the world, though. And you're getting convenience because you don't have anybody. You have minimum one row in front of you. At a minimum, one row in front of you. Because there's 2 rows. There's only 2 rows up there, so you could have nobody sitting in front of you.
If you could pick any seat at the 500, where would it be?
It might be there. I mean, there's some seats in turn 1 when you can see the front straightaway, but because the seating is so on top of it, you kind of lose sight.
What about up in like the VIP or in like the air conditioning?
I wouldn't sit there. Those are only on the straightaways. I mean, you can see some pit action, I suppose. I'm not really into pit action, but
where I would sit
all the action
behind the driver's seat.
What?
I'll pick a driver's seat.
Yeah, sure.
I'm too tall for it to begin with, and too fat.
How tall are you?
6'4", no 6'3".
That's Graham Rahal. Is that tall? Justin Wilson was 6'5".
I just imagine them all as shorties because.
Yeah, Graham Rahal's that tall. He's a 6'4", 6'5". Let's see here. I'm guessing he's hell. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's all in preference. I'm not a big fan of this type of NBA, so you know what I mean?
What do you mean, this type of NBA?
It's just crappy. Although they did shoot 76% the first half.
The Pacers set a record in the playoffs, and they don't even talk about it. They talk about the Knicks and how they lost. But that's just New York.
But yeah, you do. Let me see if I can find where the hell's Graham Rahal. Here he is. Let's see if it tells me full biography. I think he's like 6'4". Graham Rahal is. Meanwhile, you got Kyle Larson, who's built like a jockey. That guy's a NASCAR guy. Well, he's not. He races in NASCAR. Let's put it this way, right? That guy can win in anything. Like literally anything. He's won the 24 Hours of Daytona. He drives sprint cars. He drives outlaws. He wins in NASCAR. And now he's starting 5th in the Indianapolis 500 as a rookie. So, tells you how good he is.
Seems like he's okay.
Right now he's the best race car driver on the planet. And that's a lot for me to say about a NASCAR guy, but he's probably the best race car driver on the planet right now.
Who is, if he's not the best, who would be the best?
See, I don't know because you've got some endurance drivers out there. They're just phenomenal. Rally drivers. You've got. I mean, Formula One. It's hard to say.
I watch rally race. Like they randomly come up on like my feeds, and the rally drivers are amazing. Like
they're some of the best drivers out there in the world. Yeah. And they have the co-pilot that tells them, what the turn is coming up next. But to go from gravel to dirt to mud to asphalt, it's
to
just
air.
Yeah, they're probably that's what I said. They're probably some of the best race car drivers on the planet.
I listen to like the car voice, and it's like you're trying to. I'm listening to them. I'm like, what the heck are they saying? I know it's like, the directions, what's coming up, but it's also like I have no idea what they're saying.
It's like code.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like their own language. Yeah, it's amazing. So, I don't know who would be if it wasn't Larson. I just think Larson is because he can win on road course. He can win on dirt. He's versatile. He can win in anything he drives. Right now, he's the only one that's able to do that successfully. So there may not be somebody that's second place. You just might have a conglomerate of different drivers. We'll see how out of all the people to do so it's called the double, right? Because they race in the 500, then they fly to Charlotte and race in the NASCAR race, right? So and then all in the same day. So he'll finish up the Indy 500, get on a helicopter, and fly to Charlotte and race for another 600 miles in the NASCAR race on Sunday night. So he is the fourth driver to do this, fifth driver. John Andretti did it first, Robbie Gordon, Tony Stewart, Kurt Busch did it 10 years ago, and now we have Kyle Larson. But out of all those, Kyle Larson has the best chance to win the 500, I think, out of all of them. Just based off
the
of talent.
hometown hero?
He's from California.
No. Is our hometown hero
Connor?
Yeah.
Connor's got a good
Connor
race
Daly.
car. He's got a good race car. I know that much. His teammate though made the top 12. Connor didn't. It's just the luck of the draw. Connor starts 29th.
Well, he's the hometown hero.
231.2. The pole speed was 234.2, so that's 3 miles an hour. But that's one car on the track by yourself. That's not the same thing. His teammate is Ryan Hunter-Reay, my guy, my favorite driver. He starts 12th at 230.5. I know it doesn't make sense, but this is the way it is. So, and then we have seen Tino Ferrucci in the AJ Foyt Racing entry, who starts 6th. He finished 3rd last year. He very well could put Foyt's car back in victory lane. So it's going to be crazy. And then poor Nolan Siegel. Nolan Siegel was trying to qualify for the race. He crashed in practice the other day. Here's the shitty part. So he crashes in practice the other day, right? He didn't hit the wall that hard. I mean, any hitting the wall's hard, but he didn't really do a lot of damage to the car. But air got underneath the car and flipped it over. And when it flipped over and came back down on the track, it broke the tub. So he totaled the car out. So the wall hit didn't hurt the car as much as the flip over hurt the car. So this poor kid, 19 years old, gets back in the car, tries to qualify on Sunday. He got bumped from the field. He goes out and he puts another car back in the wall. But, he's 19. Can you imagine 19 driving a race car at 230 mile an hour?
Yes, I can.
And being in control. He's not a crappy driver. He's leading the
I've always wanted
the championship in Indy Lights.
So I've always wondered this, Chris. And you're probably the best one to answer it. If somebody wants to get into racing, how do you start? Do you start in a go-kart or something?
You do. You start karting. You go buy yourself a kart and find yourself a local karting track. On the local level, they will help you out. Other because it's mostly they're just dad and sons.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Isn't it just a bunch of parents and kids?
Yeah, it is a bonding experience for dad and their son and daughter. I mean, girls race now. Catherine Leggs in the 500. You start out karting, and it's a bonding experience between parents and their kids. And of course, it's expensive. Speed costs money.
There's on 70 going back and forth between Richmond and Indy. There's a big nice kart track. It's it's legit, and and they let you rent carts and go drive around. I've always wanted to stop, but usually it's I'm on my way back to Kokomo or I'm on my way back to Richmond, and it's I don't want to stop.
They hold nationals there. So Dan Weldon, he was an Indy 500 winner, right? He won the 500 twice.
Yeah.
Tragically killed in a racing accident. His sons started racing karts. He's got 2 sons, and they've raced out there.
Oh, here down 70 where I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What is that track called? Is there a name to it?
Yeah.
It's right there next to it's right behind a Denny's. That's the only thing I think about. Because I don't see Denny's anymore, and I really like Denny's. I want to slam.
I love Denny's. It is. Hang on, where's it at? Is that it? No. Come on. There's Whiteland Raceway Park. There's It's probably this one, right? Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Yeah,
It's a
Newcastle
nice
Motor Sports
one.
Car.
Like it's when
Well,
I drive by, it's like legit. And when
the
they're like,
owner is Mark Dismore. Mark Dismore drove in the Indy 500.
oh, that's nice. Well,
I should
like
buy-
when I drive by and they're like zooming around, I'm like, holy crap.
I've been there for some charity events. They've had charity karting events with IndyCar
Hmm.
drivers. So I've been there a couple times and watched some karting races.
Sweet. So I'm glad it's I always thought it was really nice, so I'm glad it's like a recognized track.
Yeah, any kid that's grown up in Indiana that's raced like Connor Daly, he raced there as a kid in karts.
Okay.
So it's a pretty big deal. Yeah, you start out karting. There's karting all over the world. A lot of
Yeah.
big race car drivers start out in go karts. Marco Andretti started out in go karts.
That's kind of like, in my mind, that's kind of like the intramural, like, pick up basketball or something,
Right.
at the Y. You got to start somewhere. So I've always wondered, just like, where do people start? So
You
now
buy
I
a
know.
cart. Scott McLaughlin, he's on the pole for the 500 this year. He started in karting in New
So
Zealand.
if you don't start in karting, where do you start? Like sprint cars or?
That's a different. If you're looking more like NASCAR guys, come from sprint car more than
Yeah, what's his name? Stewart?
Tony Stewart came from sprint cars. Jeff Gordon, Kyle Larson drove sprint cars. He started karting though. He karted against Alexander Rossi actually when they were kids. They raced against each other in karts. So Kyle Larson started, but he got there's a kid from Winnemac that races in NASCAR. He raced dirt. So there's just various forms. I mean, you can start out at your local racetrack, street stocks, things like that. Um, Going to modifieds. I think that's like Dale Earnhardt Jr. started that way, and the Busch brothers, Kyle and Kurt Busch, started racing stock cars at a local track, dirt, stock car track or local dirt track like Kokomo
Yeah.
Speedway. But if you want to go like racing, like IndyCar racing or Formula type racing, you start, 8, 9 years old in karting, sometimes
So
younger.
it's kind of like there's certain branches, and where you start is kind of where you're leading. So karting is like IndyCar leads into Indy or that style, and
Right,
then everything else kind of the other leads into like NASCAR or
right, right. Because
whatever.
like Kyle Busch, NASCAR champion, right? Kyle Busch, he has got a son, and he races on dirt and like these little quarter midgets and outlaws, and that's how he's starting his career as a race car driver. Then he moved to Bandoleros, which are little stock cars, and then they just keep moving up. Weldon's kids, like Dan Weldon's kids, they started in karting, and then his oldest, which I think is Sebastian, is 14, and he's running in USF juniors now. So the next step for him is USF 2000 and then USF 2000 Pro. They race with the Indy cars at the Indy Grand Prix. They're going to race this Friday night at Raceway Park. And then so you go USF 2000, USF 2000 Pro, Indy next, then Indy cars. So he's just climbing the ladder to
Mm-hmm.
IndyCar is what he's doing. And David Maluka started there. There's a couple of drivers, Pato Award, Colton Herta, Renus VK. I've got a picture of Renus VK in a Formula 2000 car. I got it autographed. Um, he's one of the fastest cars on the track this month for the race. So they started karting, and they start. That's the way they go. Colton Herta started karting. Anybody probably in the top. I can't say how many of these drivers started. Majority of them started in karts. Let's put it that way. Majority of the starters. I know Scott McLaughlin did. Joseph Newgarden started karting. Um, who else? Who's on the outside? Will Power. He started out. I don't know how he started out. He probably started out in karts, I'm sure. Scott Dixon, no. So that's the way to go. Go buy yourself a go-kart. And of course, and it's not really like buy yourself the cart and the motor. The upkeep on the motor can get a little pricey. You have to kind of break it down, and like they do a rebuild every year, probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the tires. Tires make you go fast. So tires can get expensive, but speed costs money. So
Well, it's like anything else. If you got to spend money to make money, unfortunately.
yes, but yeah, most of these guys started in carts, so they probably all did. So yeah, buy yourself a go kart and go racing.
Speaking of starting, did you see what has started with Red Lobster?
No, I thought they were closing.
Red Lobster filed bankruptcy today.
That's awful. I'm not.
Well,
very happy
they
about
priced themselves out of the average American. Kimberly
They
and I
did it.
Yeah, they did. Kimberly and I went there the other day, like a couple weeks ago, and for both of us, for 2 plates of food, it was 40. Just with food alone, was over $40.
That's average. That's
It was like
cheap, actually. What did you get? You didn't get crab legs.
plate was like $20.
Yeah, that's about right. But you got to think, fish is expensive now. They closed down. If you watch Deadliest Catch, where they get their crab legs from, they only allowed so much. They closed the fishing grounds last year, which raised the price of crabs, which raised the price of crab meat, which raised the price of fish.
Why they close the grounds?
They didn't. It's just the crab count.
Oh, everybody hit their max too fast.
Yeah, so they closed like part of the fishing crab grounds were gone, so they didn't get a fish last year, a crab season. But so fishing's expensive. I mean, but that's where you took people like on a date. Like if I was going on a date that I liked her, I'd take her to Red Lobster. I've never been on a date to Red Lobster.
Well, the one of the reasons I've read that they're going bankrupt is they kind of with the last TikTok kind of killed them with because they bit into the TikTok trend of the unlimited shrimp
Unlimited shrimp, yeah, I heard that.
and they bit into the TikTok craze, and that kind of bit them in the foot because they got killed.
Yeah, that's a shame. I mean, I know they took a gamble, but nobody was probably going. I mean, every restaurant, nobody was going for the longest time. And with the economy, that is like an upper end. I know it's a chain restaurant, but it's more of an upper end chain restaurant. You know what I mean? It always has been.
that is a fancy chain restaurant.
So people were, it's hard to beat the Applebee's deal. Applebee's is good and it's not expensive.
2 for $20 or whatever.
Yeah. Chili's is the same way. So,
but it's a shame. But at the same time, doesn't mean they're closing. I know they're closing a lot of stores, but it doesn't mean they're done.
Yeah, I hope not.
Plenty of companies have filed Chapter 11 and got out of it.
Yeah, but I like getting crab legs. It's hard to find crab legs.
I want their cheddar biscuits. We just bought some from Kroger. They were on sale, so they're in the freezer right now.
Oh, I mean, I don't want to cook them. That takes too long.
Oh, dude, when we were on the cruise, they had the all-you-can-eat crab legs. They're from Alaska. Oh, they were so good.
That's one point. That's one part I miss about living in Florida was fresh seafood.
Yeah, that when we were in Florida, the seafood's like considerably cheaper. But I know that's what you get for living in the country. Steak is cheaper for us than it is for them, probably.
I don't know. Not in Florida. They have the cows are mainly the seafood and cows. You would not believe the cows.
Oh, I know. I think it was Ocala. Driving through there and seeing all the cattle farms. I was like, holy crap! I was like, I didn't know we were in Texas.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cows have always been really. That's where the crackers came from. Florida cracker. That's where that term came from because they were cowboys, and they cracked the whip with the cattle.
Oh, I thought we were called crackers because we were white. like saltines.
Well, yeah, but it started in Florida with the crack of the whip and the cowboys and the same thing.
The more you know,
There you go.
the more you coals.
That's right.
But so also, me and Kimberly started watching. We're not doing a complete rewatch of the Marvel stuff, but we are doing like a semi rewatch. So we started with a couple of the first movies, the good ones. So Captain America, the first Iron Man, stuff like that. We watched Kimberly mostly watched it by herself, but we watched WandaVision again, which honestly, I don't. It's not as bad as I remembered. I actually kind of enjoyed it. And then we watched Black Widow, which honestly, Black Widow is one of the better Marvel movies out there.
There's so much other stuff to watch that's better.
Then Black Widow or then Marvel?
Marvel.
Well, I like Marvel movies. They were like an entire thing for my generation. So suck it. But no, I watched Endgame again. I mostly just skipped all the way to the end to what I wanted to watch. Because I skipped to the good parts because I don't want to sit there and watch a whole 3-hour movie.
That's cheating. You know, yesterday was the 35th anniversary of Roadhouse, right? Roadhouse came out 35 years ago yesterday. This is the stuff you should be watching, Chris.
I'm okay. I could skip Roadhouse.
No,
I haven't missed it. I haven't been missing anything yet.
You watch those shitty ass Marvel movies that ain't even good. Some of them, because I've seen.
You like them?
Not all of them, dude.
Yes,
Not all of them was terrible.
Apparently, since it got put on Disney, it's been doing good.
Today, 44 years ago today, Empire Strikes Back came out. I know where I was 44 years ago today, seeing Empire Strikes Back with my grandpa. So
you forced your grandpa to take you there, poor guy.
No, he took us. We sat outside the white movie theater there on Boulevard before we got the big theater.
It was Carasotis then.
It was just a little theater with the 4 screens or whatever.
Yeah, that was Carasotis. Well, that's what it was before AMC bought them. It was Carasotis. Then Carasotis built the new big one, right? And then AMC bought Carasotis.
Right. Yeah. So prior, that's when we saw it was. They had all 3 of them. That's where all 3 Star Wars movies were. Must have been the bigger theater because it was that one and the one at the Markland Mall.
Well, the Markland Mall one was. All I remember was how old that movie theater was and always needed updated.
I loved that theater though, man. I mean, you could go to the mall, walk around, because malls were cool in the 80s, you know?
It's still, I like going to the mall still, but not.
Yeah, but, it's not like it used to be. Dude, Friday night, Saturday, all day Saturday night, all night Friday night. That was the place to go. You go to the movie, you go to the mall, walk around. It was,
It'll cause some trouble.
No, you know what? There was never any trouble caused at the mall. There were never any fights.
Well, now they have to put a curfew on
kids. Kids are stupid. At Aladdin's Castle, you go to the arcade.
Well, you know why? You know why? Because kids got the shit beat out of them if they acted out.
That's exactly right. Or you got grounded and never got to go anywhere. So you behaved yourself.
You want to go out with your friends again? Okay, well, don't act like a shit.
But I mean, you saw your friends out the mall. I mean, it was great. You always running somebody at the movies. We saw Batman at the movie at the Markland Mall. The first one, the Michael Keaton one. Opening day, they didn't do midnight showings on Thursday nights. That didn't happen. That didn't happen
until
the actual
midnight
90s.
showings.
That was
on like midnight at Friday or whatever.
It was midnight on Friday. I saw Batman, so it was opening night, but it was midnight.
The last OG like midnight showing I went to was X-Men First Class, my senior year of high school. I know.
I
Why
just
do I remember
that?
I don't know.
I just couldn't stay up that late and do it. I did see Jurassic Park 2 at a midnight showing. And I think at 10 o'clock I saw Batman Returns. But they didn't the midnight showing Thursday night. No, I saw Batman Returns on a midnight showing on a Thursday night. No. Batman, what was the one with Val Kilmer?
I don't know. A lot of the older ones run together in my head, so I don't remember their names.
Batman Returns was the second Michael Keaton one. Batman Val Kilmer was Batman. Let's see what he was. Which Batman it was. He was a good Batman. But I told you that story about he didn't want to play Batman again. Because you're not Batman. You're the suit. That's all you are.
Yeah.
You're nothing. There's no depth to the character. At least when he was playing it. There's more depth now, obviously. Batman.
Yeah, because they've really fleshed out Bruce Wayne.
Right.
Which is a good thing.
Yes. It was Batman Forever. I saw it at a midnight showing.
That's the one with the nipples?
No, that was the George Clooney one.
That's right. Batman Return? No,
Batman Forever. It does have Robin in it, but it's the one with Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones.
Jim Carrey played the greatest.
It's the Riddler.
The Riddler. Like, the Riddler in the last one was good, but Jim Carrey's Riddler, no one's ever going to top that. Just like no one's ever going to top what's-his-face's Penguin. Danny DeVito.
There's that new Penguin series that's coming out soon.
I know. I am not. I know what's-his-face did a great job. Colin Farrell.
He was really good, yeah.
He was really good. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know if it deserves its own series. I don't know.
But we'll see.
I really hope it's a little bit like what's Gotham? Did you ever watch Gotham?
I watched Gotham, yeah.
That was a great show.
Well, that Robin Lord Taylor, he was a great what was he? He was a Penguin, right?
Yes, he was.
He was a good Penguin. Yeah, the Joker was the kid from Shameless.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, that was cast well. But yeah, I'm kind of anxious to see that. I think it'll be. They're not shoving a bunch of. I guess they are kind of shoving a bunch of crap out there, but like not as far as TV series are concerned. Not like Marvel is.
No, Marvel is kind of. I don't want to say in a death spiral, but they're kind of in a
death spiral.
Yeah, they're very much throw shit at the wall and see what sticks right now. And I know they kind of pushed everything back, and it's very much like nothing. Only thing coming out this year is Deadpool, which I think is a good thing. But
don't we get another Venom this year too? I mean, I know that's not Marvel, but
no, I don't think it's this year. I think it got pushed back too. I don't know. I didn't see the last Venom. I haven't seen any trailers.
Dude, that one's good.
Is it? I don't know. I was not a big fan of the first Venom.
Oh, I love the first Venom.
But no, I'm gonna. So you know how they have those tier lists that you can do online?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a tier list of my Marvel movies and piss some people off. Like the one I found is every Marvel movie, including like the original Spider-Mans, the X-Men things, the TV shows, everything on TV, like the original Daredevil movie and the Elektra movie.
Yeah, Venom: The Last Dance is supposed to come out this year.
It's not technically DC.
Expected October 25th, it says, according to IMDb.
It's not an official Disney.
No, it's Sony, right?
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked the last one. I thought the last one was really good.
I didn't see it because I was not the biggest fan of the first one. I
It's
think I only
90
saw
minutes. It's not going to kill
well,
you.
that's a
It's not
great
gonna
thing, and that's why what I liked about the first one. It was short, but
yes.
but my problem is, I think not to bring stuff back to them, but I think the reason I don't like that movie is one of the last ones I saw with the other guys. So I kind of relate that movie to them, and it's hard for me to watch. That's how it is with some things right now with me still. Like I relate it to them, and it's hard for me to watch.
Oh yeah, I do. If I did that, I would not like any movie I ever saw in my
I
life.
know, and it's only a few things. It's only a few things, but it's like the big things that we always talked about. Like I
I
haven't watched. I'm not even interested in the new Godzilla versus Kong or Godzilla and Kong,
I
whatever it's called.
wasn't, and I just it just didn't strike a chord. It's not. I'm not nothing against Godzilla movies. I
No,
do like God. It just didn't. But I've been
I
really
really
picky about what I'm seeing lately. You know what I mean?
my time is more valuable to me all of a sudden.
Yeah, I've been a little bit more. I'm not just going to run out to the theater just to go to a theater. I want, but like I've been complaining this forever. I want a story.
Yes,
You know,
I
and I
mean
do want to see that new Strangers movie that's coming out this weekend or came out last weekend. I'm gonna have to take Josie to that.
and that's one thing I liked about um Dune. Dune. That's one thing reason I like Dune so much. It had a great story.
News here. Oh, I saw Alien. Was the last movie I saw.
The new Alien.
No, the very first one from 1980. That's the only movie I've seen in the past 90 days. But like I mean, here's the movies I've seen in the past year. We talked about this: Guardians 3, The Flash, which I liked. The Flash. Dial of Destiny sucked. Oppenheimer, Equalizer 3 was okay. Five Nights at Freddy's because Josie wanted to go see it. Thanksgiving, which is a horror movie, but it was fun. That was a fun movie. Napoleon, Monty
That
Python and
was.
the Holy Grail,
I know we're just talking about wanting a story, but that Napoleon movie it skipped around too much. It needed a more cohesive story.
Ferrari. I saw Ferrari, and then I saw The Iron Claw, which is
The
on
Claw.
HBO. The Claw.
I need to see
It
that.
is on HBO, so you should check that out. I wouldn't mind seeing Planet of the Apes.
I want to see that.
I would like to see that, and then if I'd like to see that
If what's if?
Imaginary Friend, the
Oh, that looks good. That does look good.
with that John Krasinski movie, and then I want to see Strangers Chapter One. Yeah, it just came out. I might have to get the kid to go see this with me and the kid go. Well, we can go Thursday. It's a 5:30 movie. It's only an hour and a half. But I don't know. There's just not much that's you know. Like I said, I wish I would have saw Abigail at the theater. I think that would have been fun. Dune is now on HBO, coming up on HBO, so
Hmm.
maybe I'll watch it.
Watch it. What? Here's what you need to do, Chris. Watch the first one.
Take a nap.
Watch.
I'm
Watch
not
the first.
watching the first
No,
one.
no. Watch the first. No,
No.
this is very much like. Remember how? I don't know if you remember, but I really did not like Infinity War. I thought Infinity War sucked, and then I watched Endgame, and I thought it was great. I thought Infinity War needed Endgame. That, in my opinion, there's certain movies that you have to watch back to back. Infinity War and Endgame, Dune and Dune Two.
Holy
It's one of
shit.
those
I am
movies.
not watching those back to back. I don't have much time in my day. I don't think I have that much attention. Let's see here. Dune is 2 hours and 35 minutes. Dune 2 is 2 hours and 46 minutes.
Don't watch them the
That's like
same day. Watch one day, then take a nap, and come back the
watch
next
half
day.
of the first one. That's like a 4 day ordeal.
Same thing with the Lord of the Rings. I did not like Fellowship of the Rings until I watched what's it called, Two Towers.
Speaking of Dune 2, Austin Butler is waving the green flag at the 500 this year. How about that?
Nice.
Mhm. How about that?
And who was that Austin Butler in there? I can't think of who that was.
I, You don't know. I just know that he was Elvis. That's all
Okay,
I know.
he played the bad guy. That's all you have to
He
say because
was
I remember that was a big thing. People were like,
Fade
"Is he gonna
Rocca.
get?" Yeah, he's the bad guy.
Oh, he's in that biker movie with Tom Hardy. That's what it was. Yeah, the bikers or something. The bike riders.
Yeah, about
That looks
the
good.
Mongols or the what's their name? Not the Was it about the rise of the Mongols or was it about the
Well,
Hell's
this is called the
Angels?
Vandals, but I think it's a take of it could be the Mongols or it could be um,
It's a
uh,
1%. That's all I know. It's a movie
that's
about one of
Hell's
the one
Angels. That's the
percenters.
1%. Hell's Angels. But he's in that movie with Jodie Comer. She's waving the green flag too. I would have rather had Tom Hardy wave the green flag than these two because I don't know these two very much. What else she was in?
I don't
Free
know
Guy.
very much about you.
She was Ray's mom in Star Wars. I don't know who she is. She's the
So
last.
she in Star Wars she had a 2-second role.
Yeah, basically in Episode 9. Yeah. I don't know who she's in. I mean, she's been in a lot of stuff, but she's British. So I don't know her that well. But anyway, they're waving the green flag because they're in this movie together with Austin Butler. I would
Who's your
have
favorite
rather.
person to wave the green flag that you've seen? Adam Driver?
Um, huh?
Adam Driver?
Adam Driver was probably looked the most like fun, had most fun. I don't know. It could have been Nicholson because he stayed up there, like in the flag stand. He just didn't start the race. Like there was like a yellow flag, like at lap 8, and he waved the green flag for after the yellow flag. So
Really?
yeah, Nicholson was a good one. Jake Gyllenhaal's done it. I really like Jake Gyllenhaal. Matt Damon
Matt
and
Damon did one?
Batman did it. Matt Damon and Christian Bale, they waved it. But Adam Driver really seemed to get into it. But I think he gets it. He's from Indiana. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he got it. And he was all about fan experience. Like he refused to talk to media. He did walk the red carpet and he came down and all he did was sign autographs for the fans. So only had what's his name too? Uh, Miles Teller did it. But probably Adam Driver,
Oh, Rooster. I couldn't think of who Miles
Brewster,
Teller
yeah,
was for a
Miles
second.
Teller, yeah.
Was that after
Matt
Top Gun?
Damon, Matt Damon, and Adam Driver was probably two of the best ones, I think.
Who do you think
And
they need to
Nicholson,
get?
just because he's Nicholson, right?
Who do you want to see up there? Like if you could pick one person.
I mean, those are pretty big name people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, who else are you gonna get? Kevin Costner? Who's a big who's big now? I mean, Costner would be good because he's big. Plus, he's an Oscar winner. Tom Hanks, no, he's just old man. Um, there's no essence of cool anymore. There's like, you know what I mean? There's like Tom Cruise, maybe.
Tom Cruise would get really into it.
He could. I think he would be the biggest of the people like that's famous. Ryan Reynolds. Um, what's his name? Wolverine. He would be a good one. Um, but Bob Odenkirk. Somebody like that. Probably what's his name? Uh, what's that guy's name?
Great. That guy, there's like only a couple billion guys out there.
Well, the guy who plays Wolverine.
Um, Kurt Russell.
No, but Kurt Russell would be a good one too.
Who plays Wolverine?
Who plays Wolverine? What's his name? The Australian guy.
Yeah, look it up. I can't think of his name.
I am.
But
Hugh
this is gonna
Jackman.
kill Hugh Jackman. Why could I not think of that name?
Dude, you know who would be a great poll? Leonardo DiCaprio.
The race is too old for him.
Well, he's all into like environmentalists. That's probably a waste of gas for him. But I would say Tom
Well,
Cruise would probably be
as
the
he
good.
flies his private jet
Right, right.
and his Escalade to the park.
I think Tom Cruise. I think would be. I would rather see Tom Hardy. Ooh, another one. Spider-Man, Robert Downey Jr. Or Spider-Man. Tom Holland would be a good one. Robert Downey Jr. would be a good one.
He would have fun there.
I think so. I think he would enjoy that.
If they didn't get him during his Iron Man run, I don't know if they'll get him.
You know, he filmed a movie here in Indiana.
What movie?
With Robert Duvall.
The Judge?
Yeah, that's a good movie.
That's a good movie.
It was a good
Jinx. You know what else was a good movie? Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. He won an Oscar. Did he win an Oscar?
Yeah, best supporting, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. The Judge has Robert Downey Jr., Robert Duvall, Vera Farmiga. She's in a lot of movies.
Have
Billy
you not
Bob
seen
Thornton,
The Judge?
Vincent D'Onofrio, Leighton Meester. Like, there's a lot of famous people in this movie.
Have you not seen The Judge?
Yeah. It was a long time ago. I didn't realize how many famous people were in that movie. David Krumholtz is in it. Balthazar Getty, Leighton Meester, Dax Shepard, Ken Howard. Oh, he died. In the White Shadow. I think he was in the White Shadow. Wasn't he the coach in the White Shadow?
I don't know what the White Shadow is.
Oh, it was a TV show in the late 70s, early 80s. But I think that was him. Hang on, I'll let you know. He's just a character actor. He was in a bunch of stuff. I guess not. He was in Manhunter. No, he wasn't. That's not Ken Howard. Ken Howard's been in a lot of movies, but he was in it too. There's just a lot of famous people in that movie. I just didn't realize how stacked that. I forgot about Billy Bob Thornton being in that movie because it's Robert De Niro or Robert Duvall and Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, that's a stacked. That is a stacked cast. Like I forgot about. Like you said the name of the movie, the movie. I was like, oh yeah, that movie was stacked.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it was filmed in what part? Let's see where it's filmed. I know it's filmed in Indiana.
Southern Indiana?
That's what I was thinking. It was in Southern Indiana.
I think it was based on a true story.
I don't know if it was based on a true story, but
I thought it was. But
oh no, it was filmed in Plymouth. Plymouth, Jackson County, Indiana.
Is that up north?
Plymouth is up north.
Huh.
That's where they filmed some of it. But yeah. So $50 million budget. But yeah, that was a really good movie. You know what else is good on HBO? You might like this. HBO has a mini series on the Columbia disaster.
I saw that. I was scrolling through HBO and I saw it today.
I watched the first 2 parts of it last night. It's really, really, really good.
Which one's Columbia's one that blew up on re-entry, right?
Yeah, they damaged.
I get the two of them mixed up. Columbia and the
Challenger exploded.
Challenger. So fun fact, you know the teacher that was on the Challenger?
Yeah.
There's a lady in Kokomo who was the head of the museum society. She was the alternate. Beyond
she
that,
was an alternate or the first alternate?
The first alternate.
Ooh, that's scary.
So could have been another claim to fame.
You think they'll ever shoot a civilian up into space again after that?
Do it all the time.
30-something years ago.
They do it all. Musk does it all the time, and so does Bezos.
Well, yeah, but they don't go out space, do they? They just go.
I think they're starting to. I know NASA kind of changed the rules on who can call themselves an astronaut because they were going to just the edge of the atmosphere and being called astronauts, but now they're like, no, you actually have to break atmosphere.
I would think you would have to actually get out there.
Yeah, they're like, you actually have to get out into the into space and not like just break, not just like to the edge. You have to actually get out there.
I went to Titusville after they shut down the space program.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about depressing? It
Oh,
was just it
so
was empty.
for some reason on my Instagram reels, I am on like the weird um conspiracy theory thing. And one thing everybody's always like, well, about the lunar landing, why did we lose technology? How do we not have the technology now? It's not that we don't have the technology. We lost the production technology. We don't have we don't have factories making rockets to get to the moon anymore. That's the technology we lost. Could we do it? Yeah, they said we can. I think the NASA scientist said, "Yeah, give us 5 years, we can get a factory up and running again and get there."
Right. Well, I mean, and they talked about that in the Challenger or the Columbia show. Even that was what 2003 when that happened.
Yeah,
But the 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 shuttle was dated. It was built in the 70s.
yeah.
It
So,
wasn't
fun
it
fact:
wasn't upgraded.
the Russian copy was a better shuttle,
So yeah. Well, why wouldn't it be
but
if it was built?
it was also designed 10, 15 years later. But
Exactly. That's why.
if they could have made that thing work, that from what people say, it would have been amazing.
Well, so they got hit by a piece of foam, right? The piece of foam fell off of the solid rocket booster, right, and
Yes,
hit the wing, which compromised the which compromised the shuttle, right? That's led to
yes.
its destruction. So like that had happened before, and I mean this is nothing new. I'm not doing spoiler alerts, but it had happened before, and it missed. It put a dent in one of the solid rocket boosters. The piece of foam did. So they knew that it could happen, but they didn't do anything about it.
Well,
So,
it's one of those things you don't know what it's going to cause until it blows up the shuttle.
right, but I mean, what they kill 6 people, 8
Well,
people who thought they were gonna. I mean, at that point, you're flying over Texas. You're almost home. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's like that's like the worst. It ain't like at liftoff where it's the most dangerous time. Liftoff
One
is supposed to
thing
be the
that I
most
always
dangerous.
kind of gets me when I like hear about that, like both of them, is they because they got the black boxes, they can see that they were like even as it was breaking up, they could see that they were still putting in control inputs, trying to get correct it.
Right? Yeah. I read. I read that or yeah, I read that because I googled it because I wanted to read more about it. Yeah, that they were actually still trying to control it. Well, because it was out of control.
Yeah, and they were
But
trying to get it back in control. They did, it's hard to tell what's happening, but
I'm guessing the wing went first, so that's probably why they were
yeah.
trying to control it. That's the thing I can think. The
Hmm.
wing was compromised.
And it's not like at those speeds they could eject.
Yeah, they've got to. There's got to be something they can fix. So if that, if the cabin just detaches, can a parachute come out? You know what I mean?
I don't know. That's way above my knowledge of anything.
Oh, right, totally.
In my
But we
head,
need
it's
to get
like, yeah, we can make something work with that, but it's like my
that
little
whole east,
cartoon drawing is like not anything.
that whole east coast of Florida was thriving because of the space program. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until the Earth, until what? Obama didn't Obama kill it?
Um. Yeah, because Bush pumped a lot of money back into NASA.
Yeah, Obama killed it, and like, because when I went was probably 2012, 13. I went over to the Space Coast,
It's
and
thriving again though, because they launch stuff like almost
yeah, they
every
launch stuff
day now.
now, but it was a ghost town when I went over there. It was just sad of what it was, just remnant of what it was,
Mhm.
sadly. But yeah, I think they drug their feet. I know they wanted to do the shuttles, so they could each do 20 missions or 20 years or whatever, but they
Well, the
should have been up
shuttle was supposed to just be like a stopgap,
right.
because they were supposed to. The shuttle was supposed to be a stopgap until they could design a better rocket, kind of like Apollo.
Right. So
And the stopgap turned into what 40 years.
30. 79 was right to
Yeah,
2025 years.
a lot longer than it should have been.
I remember watch the first shuttle go up on the news. I remember that when I was a kid. So that was kind of cool because they used to televise them. And then I've seen them when I lived in Florida, depending on which way it shot off, the direction that it would go, we could see them, especially at night, because the night ones were really cool.
Well, it's the same thing with the what's it called? The space station at night. You can still see the space station.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, you could see like if you looked over though, but like I was in the middle of the state, right? So I was probably 80, 90 miles from Kennedy where I lived.
Yeah.
And they would launch it at night and you could look to the east and if it was clear, you would just see an orange glow in the horizon. And then you could just follow the rocket go straight up. It's impressive. It was the neatest thing I've ever seen. Really is. So, hopefully I would like to see a lot more money pumped into the space program. Well, we do have the Space Force. So I think that's part of it.
I never really made fun of Trump for the Space Force, but he's honestly just getting ahead of the game compared to like it's a lot of the quote unquote experts I listen to were like it's kind of like the Air Force. He's getting ahead of the game by splitting the all the space stuff away from the Air Force to let
when I went
branch worry about it.
Like I was at the Speedway this past weekend, and they swear in 100 military.
Mm-hmm.
And 100 civilians take their oath at the Speedway, right? Which is really cool. So they stay, the Army general goes up there and he does the oath, and they say, I state your name, and do solemnly swear, blah 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 blah. And there were 2 kids there that signed up for the Space Force.
Really?
Yeah. So you had Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and Space Force. So you can sign up for the Space Force.
Well, one thing with the Space Force, you got to just be smart.
Well, out of 100 people, 2 of them were going in the Space Force.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's shown how smart
that
they
tells
are.
you anything. So, I would love to see the space program get started again. I think it needs to continue.
Well, they need to give the space program the same amount of money they give the military, or at least percentage of the military's
or the Ukraine.
Well, I'm
what
all
would
for.
What would the space program be like if they funded the space program like they funded Ukraine?
I'm all for giving the Ukraine money to help, fight the Russians.
Billions.
Give them, the amount of money they've given them is a bit much, in my opinion. I'm no military, and I know a lot of it.
What would the space program look like if it got the same amount of money?
And I know a lot of it is like they're not getting like it's not all money. It's they're getting guns, ammo, stuff like that, and they're getting the old stuff, and it's creating jobs because now the U.S. has to buy more Patriot missiles. So what does that cost? That costs more jobs than in America. But
okay, but so if you give all that money to the space program, that doesn't create more jobs.
True.
So there you go. And the money stays here in America.
Well, all the production jobs stay here in America for our weapons.
So I'm just saying. I would rather see it go to the space.
I'd rather the Space Force get it.
I would too.
You know what? Those aliens out there must have oil, so we gotta go get that oil.
Avatar, man.
We gotta bring them freedom.
Avatar. That's what Avatar was about, wasn't it?
I think so. Avatar was just Pocahontas.
Right?
You got anything else?
I do not. I will have a report on the Indy 500 next week, though. We can talk about the Pacers because there should be 4 games wrapped up by then.
Yeah, hopefully we won 4-0. I doubt it, but you know what? I can dream. No one said I can never dream.
That's right. I'm going to grab me a bowl of cereal and turn on game one as we speak here. Oh, should we talk real quick about how this Fever sucked?
Well, the Fever sucked last year. That's the reason they had the number one pick. I'm not surprised.
She's supposed to save the team.
She's getting bullied out there. Have you seen some of that?
They said that was going to happen.
Yeah.
She ain't that big.
She got hurt already, too, because of they're hitting her with hard picks.
Well, they said that was going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I hope she does good, especially for the Fever, but I'm not dumb. It's going to take a couple years.
I mean, we have a perfect record. We're 0-4.
Well, it's like the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears got one player, and they already putting them in the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, that's what they've done with the Fever. How long before this washes out? The popularity.
Midway.
You think it's midway this year?
Yeah,
I think so too. Nothing against her. Nothing against the Fever. I don't watch the WNBA. My mind's not gonna be changed. If you watch it, good for you. That's just not for me.
Yeah.
I just, facts are facts, and I know how.
My dad's already gone to 2 games.
Really?
He likes girls basketball. He was a coach for years for girls.
Basketball. High school basketball is really good, and so is college.
College and high school girls basketball, I think, is better than pro basketball.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that. But I don't know. It just don't. I mean, I barely go to the Pacer games. You know what I mean?
I think one of my big things with the Fever or with the WNBA is, everybody talks about how they don't get paid. Well, they lose money every season. Right. The players. I would take the salary that she gets her first year over what I get now, to go play basketball for 4 months. Their season's not that long.
She's not playing. She doesn't play a lot. Like, it's a short season.
No. Yeah. I would take that salary for whatever, plus whatever deal she has. I would take that.
Yeah, she signed a big deal with Nike. So
one thing is, if you want the I'm going to say this, and I know people say it before, if you want the WNBA to make money, watch the games, buy the merch, go to the games, spend your money. If that's the only way they'll start making money. You gotta. When I start seeing Fever jerseys like I see NBA jerseys, then I know they're making money.
Right, and it can't be like when the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl, like everybody just wear Buccaneer T-shirts, because that died out after 2 years.
Yeah.
And the Pacers are down 12-0 in the first half already.
12-0?
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. We weren't supposed to make it this far.
I know, right? I was thinking the same thing. They weren't supposed to go this far.
We probably should have not even made it past the Bucks. Well, that's a lie. We had the Bucks number this year. I can't.
We did have the Bucks number. I think they've always had problems with the Celtics all year long. So
I think we beat them once or twice. Yeah. We beat them at least twice because we made it to the championship of the in-season tournament.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right.
And people forget about that. We made it to that championship game.
I think it's the Lakers.
Yeah, but the Lakers were healthy.
Yeah. That Bronny next year. The whole average 5 points a game, 6'1" mid player.
He was getting compared to Patrick Beverly with how he's going to perform.
5 points a game, and he sat on the bench. If his name was Robert, Smith, nobody, he wouldn't even get drafted. He wouldn't even go to the D League.
Here's what's going to happen. He's going to get drafted to get his dad to come to you.
And he'll be out of the league in 3 years.
Once his dad plays about 1 year with him, his dad's going to retire. I say this is LeBron's this is LeBron's last year or next year, whichever year he plays with his son is going to be his last year, and that's going to be. And as soon as LeBron is out of the league, his son is going to the D League.
They'll cut him, right?
Because all it is bait for LeBron.
Yeah, that's all it is. I agree with that.
Nobody wants him. Nobody wants Bronny.
No, he's just.
And unfortunately, he's probably going to go top 5.
Well, that's so they can get LeBron. That's the only reason. That's the theory behind it. Whoever drafts him is trying to get LeBron.
Yep.
So, but oh well.
Oh well. We will thank you for watching another episode of the Hoosier Nerds, the podcast with the Kris and the Chris. You can catch us at Pod Nerds on Twitter, Hoosier Nerds on Facebook, YouTube if you want to watch us, and then your favorite podcasting sites: Amazon, TuneIn, Spotify, and iTunes.
There you go. And you don't have to wonder who your nerds are.
Because that's us.